You want to make sure that creativity is intentional. And intentional means that you tell your students you intend to be creative. I want you to be creative. You have to train your students to be creative, but then you're going to tell them. And to wrap it up a little bit here, this is just some of the ideas that, principles that I've come up with. So you want to separate idea generation from evaluation. Remember, don't, evaluate as you're generating. Test assumptions, that means go through, is this an original idea? Avoid pattern thinking, get out of habit of mind. So one of the things that you want to do is you want to make sure you do something new. My sister's a psychologist, and one of the things she says is when her patients are in a problem that they can't get out of, they just are, they can't pay a bill, they can't do this, they can't do that, she tells them to lay on the floor. Just lay flat back on the floor and get a new perspective. It shifts your way of thinking. Go someplace new. If sometimes I'll just go downtown in here in Aurora and I'll sit on a bench and watch people. I've met some of the neatest people in the world. Go meet somebody new, right? Just go talk to a stranger in the grocery store. Just, do these things. Use your right hand or left hand instead of your right hand to jot down notes. That's another thing that will force that creative spark. Brush with your left hand first thing in the morning. Brush with your left hand instead of your right. If you're like me, you'll end up going back to your right because you just feel like your teeth aren't clean enough. But change your habits during the day, and that changes the way that, look at me, the way that your brain works inside, right? Minimize negative thinking, and I think I've already mentioned this, but worry is nothing more than negative creativity. If you are a worrier, the odds are that you are highly creative, and there's an infinite possibility. So you're worried something bad is going to happen. Like I'm seeing it with this coronavirus, right? Oh my God. Here's a good real world example. In our situation, the creative person is like me. Oh my God. So I am this guy. You can go on for an infinite number of possibilities of what is going to happen. What is going to happen? What is going to happen? And the more you do that, the more you're going to worry, the higher your anxiety is going to go. So the solution is to do something like have a class on creativity and then spend 3 days building a PowerPoint and finding awesome images and sliding, and then still have it mess up because you didn't test it first. But find something creative to do. Learn how to knit, learn how to crochet, learn how to build your own car, go out, build a deck, build a bench, just go out and do something, and just take that negative creativity and turn it into something positive. One, it'll keep your mind off the infinite possibilities that we're all going to die or get taken over by China. That's one of mine. Or you do something positive and create something that you can give to your grandkids someday. I mean, that I'm just saying, that's some of the things that you can do. And I think I have one last slide here. Just show your students that creativity is appreciated. Focus on the internal reward, that autotelic experience. One thing I did mention was to promote mastery, but that goes with that whole learning and discovery part between intent and action. Ask your students thought-provoking questions, like I do sometimes in classes, right, Andrea? Like, when did you fail? Tell me about a time you failed. Encourage thinking about thinking. Give students freedom and the security to take risks in the classroom. And then most of all, creativity takes time. And so build that time into your lessons. And I'm done. Any questions? You have no questions. I do have some resources in here. A couple of books. The Flow of Creativity was written in 1996. It's a Bible. I've got it here. I've got it in digital. And same with Developing. Brad Hokanson. There's some great ideas. Also, I'm going to put in the class one of my little books. Shh. I have a book on 101 creative activities that you can do with students. I downloaded it online, so it's out there somewhere. So I will also put that into the class. Any questions? Come on, there's got to be some questions. Seriously? See what they did? This is what students do. They don't turn on their webcam, and then they can go do whatever they want. Any questions, Scott? What do you think?
No, I don't have any questions. I just want to say that this was all very creative of you, and thanks for sharing all this with us.
You're doing a very good job. Yeah.
Look
Great.
at you, Daniel. Well, and it's really hard because I have grad students in here and I have undergraduate students. And so, you know, I'm trying to come up with ideas that you can. And by the way, being online as an online teacher, okay, Yasmin just has a good question. How do job aids work? Well, the job aid should be designed specifically for them to be able to learn the tool. I think that like in some of our classes that we teach, like 229 and 429, it's way too precise. Do this, do this, do this, and doesn't leave room for creativity. So, which I think that is one of the directions we want to head in for that portfolio, is to kind of step back from the step-by-step for the portfolio and let students go out and just create, because that learning process while they're creating works together very well. And I only say that because that's how I do it. Is if I'm bored with a tool, I'll go find something new and do the same thing. So if I'm tired of Google Sites, I'll go on Weebly and I'll figure out a way to do that. And if I don't like that, then I go, oh, maybe I can do a shared thing, and I go out to PB and I find PB Works. So I think that the job aids for our classes are way too precise for creativity. And so, but I understand it, because the purpose of the classes is to teach them the skill set. So those job aids are really good for business, right? So when you go into business, an HR function is to design step-by-step guides for people to use software, to use programs, to use that kind of thing. It's also step-by-step policies and procedures. So you really don't want creativity, right? You want people to stick to that policy without being creative, right? So, but to get true creativity, you want to leave it open-ended. You know, you want to say, this is how you use the tool. Here's some resources. This is how you start it, and then let them go off and do what they want. Give them a couple examples, you know, because, you know, Monet didn't paint without studying great painters before him. So you always want to give them examples, but then just let them be